I want to be the first person in the game to say What do you mean I've already said it? All right then, I want to be the first person in a sequel to say
Hello, welcome to episode 61, in which guest co-host Rick and I discuss the head-scratchingly obtuse point-and-click adventure Discworld II, plus Dave the Diver, Forza Horizon 4 and more, all on podemup. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 61 of the Podemup podcast. My name is Ollie. Unfortunately, for the first time ever, I think, Tibbs isn't here. He couldn't make it this time. So luckily enough, we did have a guest scheduled. So I've now promoted our guest to co-host. So joining me as my co-host for this episode is Rick. Hello, Rick.
Hello. Look at that. That's the second time on and I'm co-host already. That's fantastic.
You're co-host already. You've been promoted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Welcome to the big leagues. So you've brought a book club pick that we're going to talk about later, which is Discworld II.
Yeah.
In the meantime, though, and you could be free to cover any game that you've played since the last time you were here, which is over a year ago, I think. What have you been playing lately?
Well, mostly the last month I've just been playing Dave the Diver.
Oh yeah. Okay. I've played a demo of this. I've heard it's really good. It's quite a popular game.
It's amazing. I've put about 70 hours into it.
Oh really?
Over the last month. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I really wish that when I sent you the tweet about Discworld 2, I hadn't actually played Dave the Diver yet, and I really wish I'd mentioned Dave the Diver because I think it'd make a fantastic book club game.
Oh yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah. So it's just it's so much fun, and it's such a random concept, and there's no other game like it that I can think of. I mean, it sort of falls into the Stardew Valley type thing.
Yeah.
Bit of, but it's completely different. You're a diver during the day. You're called Dave, obviously, and you go down. There's a mysterious blue hole opened up somewhere in the Caribbean where there's fish from all over the place have like gathered there. And yeah, you can go down diving twice a day, and then at night, with the fish you've caught, you run a sushi bar. So the aim is to make money, get staff and stuff. But you're also there's like a story in there as well. There's like some people that live under the sea that you're trying to help. There's some really cool big boss fights. I'm not very eloquent when it comes to talking about games.
No, that's
but
all
honestly,
right.
God, if you've not played Dave the Diver, play it. It is a fantastic game.
It does seem like a really interesting concept. Yeah. It's all pixel art, isn't it? It's like a pixel art side.
Yeah, but it's like really nice. There's like anime cutscenes in between stuff where you're like upgrading weapons.
Okay.
When you've got your sushi restaurant, you can enhance dishes up to like level 10, so they're worth more money, and the taste goes up and things like that. So there's some really nice little anime cutscenes. There's some very funny ones. Like the guy that does your weapons is it's sort of like a neckbeard type character that you know. Have you seen the South Park episode where they're playing World of Warcraft?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like the guy there sat in his chair where he's sat back, where he's got his like neck hanging out and everything, and he's like he's what do they call it? A weeabo or something. He's proper into like Japanese idol girls and things like that.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So there's some very very funny cutscenes involving him.
Okay. Yes, I mean, it gets a lot of critical acclaim, that game, doesn't it? So.
It's definitely the best game I played this year, I think. And
good.
I've also been playing Cat Quest 2 recently. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I think I've seen it. Is it? What is it?
It's like basically you've got a big world map, and you're a little cat, you've got a little dog companion, or in this case, I was the dog companion because I've been playing it with my son. So he's been the cat, I've been the dog. It's very basic. One button to attack. You can pick the spells. There's 12 different spells to learn, so they go to the shoulder buttons. You can have 4 at a time. Dungeons to explore. It's a really, really easy game, but really fun. It's like you could probably do it in about 5 hours or something like that. Complete the story. But I've just been playing it with my son. We've been having a right laugh. There's absolutely tons of cat and dog puns in it, which are very funny. It's just I can't actually think of any off the top of my head, but it's just all over there. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And
It's always the case whenever we talk about like funny games. Like a game can have so many like funny one-liners and stuff, but you don't actually remember any examples when you come to talk about it.
Like there's some naughty words, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're having a roughing good time, aren't you?" and stuff like that. It's like,
yeah,
I know what you're saying there, but I'm sat here with my 11-year-old playing it quite happily because it says roughing.
Yeah. It's always nice when you can play a game with your kid and just have as much fun with it as they are.
Yeah,
yeah.
It is. I mean, he gets a bit stressed out playing it. If we've died a few times, and he gets very stressed out about it. But he's getting to that age now. He's like 11, but he's already acting like he's 13, 14.
Oh God, yeah. I've got a niece like that, and it's just
it's horrendous.
I swear it happens earlier these days than even in our generation. Yeah. Something in the water, I think. Anyway, anything else you've been playing?
Honestly, not that I can think of off the top of my head, because like Dave the Diver's just took up all my time last month.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I've given up on more than I've started or played this month. I've really, because lately I've just find it difficult to really settle with a game before like getting bored with it or getting frustrated with it.
Yeah.
So last month I was talking about Penny's Big Breakaway, which is the 3D platformer, the original 3D platform from the Sonic Mania team.
All right.
It's really nicely presented and everything, but I just couldn't get on with like the controls and the moves. There's a variety of different ways to sort of get. You're a girl with a big yo-yo, and you kind of fling it, and it flings you, and things like that. I just couldn't get the hang of those moves. I just kept flying off the platforms all the time. It's really clever what's going on, and you can see people who are good at it can really make the most of it. And kind of, I think there's a scoring system where you have to kind of stay in the air. And I'm sure there's YouTube videos where people are amazing at it, but I just couldn't do it, and I was getting really, really frustrated with it. So I proper rage quit that one. It was almost embarrassing. I'm glad no one else was in the room. So a shame that one got binned. Berserk Boy was another one. I have mentioned it on the show before. It's like a cross between Sonic and Mega Man, a 2D platformer. It plays really nicely, but the checkpoints are just too far away. And I died quite a lot, and I don't mind a challenging game, but don't make me redo like 2 to 3 minutes of just standard platforming every single time to get back to the point where I died. I just had enough of that.
Yeah,
that was annoying me. Hi-Fi Rush was another one. Have you played Hi-Fi Rush?
No, I haven't. I've heard some people talking about it. It's
a really well-loved game. The developers recently closed their doors, and obviously that's a sad news, and everyone's upset about that. But me and Tibbs have been talking about it, and he's had much the same approach to me. It's on paper and visually, it's a really, really nice, impressive game. But there's just something about it didn't hold him, and it didn't hold me really. It's kind of like a platformer hack and slash, but it's all rhythm based. So there is a constant sort of beat going on, and you've got well, you don't have to. You can hit at your own pace, but you get the best results by trying to hit at the beat, and everything's kind of in sync with it.
I'm terrible at games like that.
Well, that's the thing. I really struggle to keep to the beat of it. I'm not good at rhythm games, and for some reason I didn't let that stop me from buying it. But I don't know. I just found that the rhythm stuff wasn't as integral as I would have liked. Weirdly, like. The music wasn't that memorable and that good. I feel like if you're going to do that sort of combination of hack and slash mixed with the music, you want the music to be really, really noticeable. It's just too sort of backgroundy and just not part of it really. It's just, I don't know, it didn't grab me, but people love it. So don't let me put anyone off.
Well, I'm good at rhythm games, but when it comes to like Rock Band and things like that, I'm Oh well, I'm probably not anymore. I've not played it for years. Actually, I was up to like expert guitar and Rock Band 2. I remember that. I was quite happy about that. But then I tried
Yeah.
the other two big sort of rhythm type games. There's Crypt of the Necro Dancer, isn't there?
Oh
Which
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah. I haven't played that. I played there's like a Zelda spin-off of that I played a little bit of, and I sort of earmarked Crypt of the Nectar Dancer as a book club pick one day.
all right.
But that's quite an interesting sort of concept, isn't it?
Yeah, and the other one's that Metal Hellsinger.
Oh, I haven't played that. No.
And I was terrible at that. It's just a first-person shooter. It's like right up my alley. I'm not mad on first-person shooters, but I like them
Yeah,
occasionally. Like I love
yeah.
Doom. You stick a good metal soundtrack on there, and I'm there. I love it. And this has got an amazing
Absolutely.
metal soundtrack, but you have to shoot on the beats,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
can't do it because I play my
Yeah.
first-person shooter. I'm just like shooting all over the place, and
Yeah.
so I'm
I
losing
know.
combos and things like that.
Yeah. It's it's tricky, isn't it? You realise you don't have any rhythm, and it's
Yeah.
it's, it's quite an insulting way of realising that fact, isn't it? With the game just
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
you you're rubbish, really. Yeah, so that was that. Clive and Wrench. I think I started this since the last episode, but I've also binned it. This I think it was an incoming indie at one stage. It's kind of like a Banjo-Kazooie type collectathon thing. And it was out like last year, I think, but it didn't have great reviews, so I sort of waited until it was in like one of those fanatical bundles, and I picked it up recently. I was following the guy who made it. He's been working on it for like 10 years, and it's a little rough around the edges, but it's visually and everything. But it actually plays quite well. Like I enjoyed the first two levels. There's something quite relaxing about the gameplay. They weren't. Whereas in Banjo-Kazooie, some of the jiggies that you had to get, they were like behind certain challenges, and some of them were rhythm based, but all sorts of different things like that. These ones were just sort of hidden around the level, and it's just an exploration thing. And there was something quite relaxing about that. But then it gave me this quite frustrating boss that really kind of showed up the rough edges of the game. It just didn't. It was always awkward. Didn't explain things properly, and I couldn't get past it, and I just I haven't been back to it since. I might go back to that one, but it was just a bit disappointing, that one.
So is this designed by like one person?
Yeah, it's one of those one-person games, which is really impressive in its own right.
It is, yeah.
It's amazing how they do it. And considering that, it was an impressive thing, but you could see a difference between that and something that a team has worked on. But
Yeah.
I'd still recommend giving it a try if you can get it cheap. Clive and Wrench, it's called. It's a rabbit and a monkey on his back.
All right. So it's just like a 3D platformer,
Yeah,
Banjo-Kazooie
yeah, it's a
style
collectathon.
game,
It's a sort of straightforward collectathon because when he made it, started over 10 years ago, I think. There wasn't anything else around at that time because it hadn't come back. So
Yeah.
but now that it's come back, there's quite a few others like it, and it's not the best of those because it's kind of looks like a game that would have come out 10 years ago, really. But yeah, it's the first couple of levels weren't bad. I've started a couple of other games that I haven't yet binned though, so I thought I'd start a new Zelda. The Zelda I've gone for is Spirit Tracks, which is a DS game.
All right.
So it's top down. It's like a top down one, but it's 3D graphics and it's in the Wind Waker style. So it's kind of like a top down Wind Waker, but instead of sailing on the sea, you're riding a little train around. So it's quite nice. Yeah, I've only done one dungeon so far, but it's all right. I'm emulating it, so I'm using the mouse, and I didn't realise before I started playing it that it's all touch screen based. Like you move Link around by tapping where he wants to go. So it's a bit more awkward with the mouse, but I'm sort of persevering. And then I picked up Forza Horizon 4.
All right.
So because
is that the Scotland one?
Yes, yeah, the UK based one. Yes, yeah. It's because I've played it before on Game Pass, but I saw the other day. Well, first of all, I saw that it was on sale on Steam for like 11 quid, and I thought, oh, I always mean to get that. And then just after that, I saw the reason why it is because it's being delisted because of the licensing and stuff, like all the cars and probably some music, and it's just full of licensed stuff basically. And it's always probably had this year that it was going to be delisted, but they're only just telling us about it now, of course. So if you were listening to this and you haven't picked it up, I'd recommend you go and do it before it's too late. I think a lot of the DLC is already gone, but you can get like ultimate packs with a load of them in there and things like that. But it's good. It's good. It's a great game. I haven't played much of it yet, but it's another one that Alice came in the room the other day with me playing it, and she said, "Oh, what's this, Daddy?" And she sat down. She loves just driving the car around because you don't have to stick. I realised this time, I didn't know this before when I was playing on Game Pass, but you don't have to stick to the roads. You can just go completely off into the fields and drive around wherever you want. So she was just having a great time, just driving around, going crazy. So it's kind of like an open world one. I haven't really played the Forza games before this one. Have you got much experience with the series?
I played 2 a lot back in the day.
Yeah.
On Xbox 360, and then I've played 4 quite a bit. Yeah, and I played 5 a little bit as well when it came out on Game Pass. But I was just like, oh, it's just more of the same, really. I'm not a massive fan of racing games.
Okay.
PS1, Gran Turismo 2. I played them to death, but then I just sort of lost a bit of interest. I prefer the Need for Speed because you can just pick up and play it now and then. But yeah, I played Forza 4 quite a lot. I loved going off road and just like it was nice to drive around places and be like, oh, I've actually been there.
Yeah,
I know. I know where this place is.
It was a big part of the appeal because it's like a really beautiful scenery and everything. All in. Is it just in Scotland? Does it go down?
No, you're right. Yeah, it's like a really condensed version of England and Scotland, isn't it? I think.
Yes.
Do you start around Edinburgh? There's like some street races in Edinburgh or Glasgow.
There's like a
maybe.
festival. Yeah, there's a festival that you go to, and it's in Scotland. It's sort of between Edinburgh and Glasgow, I think. And that's the bit I'm on now. But I understand it goes further south. I think there's some places in the lakes, and I think there's some places in the northeast. Like maybe Newcastle sort of area, not Newcastle, but somewhere around there. But yeah, it's nice just driving around and just like you see a country pub or something, and you're just driving through the fences, and you go around the back, and there's a random barn with like a really good car in. The barn finds on there. I think there's like so you can just find the car.
Yeah, okay. There's 70 or something of those, and you have to find them. It's a ridiculous amount of collectibles in those games.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's nice. It's just a nice game to just not take too seriously and just have a bit of fun with, rather than a sort of a structured, really difficult series of story-based levels and things like that. So it's nice. I probably won't complete it or anything, but I'll it's one of those I'll dip into now and then. For £11, it's an absolute bargain.
Yeah, oh definitely.
So get that while it's still on sale. That's on Steam. I think it's going on sale on Xbox as well soon. The only other thing that I had an eBay pickup recently. So it's an LCD game from my childhood called Turbo Raceway, which was made by Tandy. Remember the Tandy shops?
Oh yeah.
So because I've recently, in the last couple of years, I've been digging out all my old toys and trying to sell some of them, and I found this little LCD game. And it's completely wrecked. It's all yellow. It doesn't work anymore. The screen's ruined. And I thought, I'd really love to because I remember playing this loads. It's a really simple driving game. It's just a F1 style. And there's 3 lanes, and you just drive forward, and you're overtaking these cars, and you just zip between the lanes to dodge them. But it's a concept that works well on LCD. So I went on eBay, see what was going on there. There's only 3 of them. Like 2 of them were the ridiculous, eBay £150 whatever, and the best looking one was only like £15, so I bought that, and it's come, and it is in such good condition. I couldn't believe it's like brand new. Like either it's a reproduction, which I don't think it is, because I don't think it's a really popular, well-known game, so I don't think anyone's bothered to reproduce it. But if it isn't, it's been sitting somewhere dark and never played with for like 30 years. So I was so happy with it. It looks fantastic. It plays really well. So I was really pleased with that.
Oh, wow. I remember there used to be pages of them in the old catalogues, didn't there?
Yeah, Argos catalogue
3 or
and
4
things
pages
like that, yeah.
of just these LCD games. I think I had one that was you were a caveman and you had to steal legs off a dinosaur. I think it was probably called Caveman because they weren't very imaginative with names back then.
No, it's quite simple things, weren't they? I had a Street Fighter one, which I did find, and I think it kind of still works, and it's in pretty good condition. I mean, that's one of those things that it never really worked well as an LCD. You can't convert Street Fighter 2 into LCD form particularly convincingly. You know, you could. I think it had like a couple of different characters, and they had different like states for their moves, and God knows how it. I don't remember playing it a lot, but I had it. But yeah, so LCD fun.
Nice,
always good.
News.
So we've had Summer Game Fest, we've had Nintendo Direct, PlayStation 1, the Xbox One. Has any games come out of that?
Honestly, I've not watched anything.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
You know, if I knew Tibbs wasn't going to be on, I might have researched a bit more. And I'm like,
fair enough.
Yeah, I just don't bother with them because I think I've watched about 3 or 4 of these PlayStation things, and every time they just completely underwhelm me. I'm just like, I'm wasting an hour of my life there. I've seen maybe one game that I knew was coming out that I was interested in, but.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I know. I don't really watch the PlayStation ones anymore just for that reason, really. I'm exactly the same. The only one, and I saw it sort of afterwards in all the YouTube things, was the AstroBot. You know,
see, now you've said that, yes. I have seen that, yeah. I am looking forward to that, yeah.
Yes, it looks really nice. It's I was joking on Twitter that it's finally a game that...
Oh, yeah, when's the Patreon coming up?
Yeah, exactly. I think we might get like 5p or something.
You've got a patron here. I will give you £1 a month. And
that would be lovely. Thank you. We'll have
10 years. No, longer than that. £1 a month. £1 a week.
Yeah, probably longer than that.
10 years, you can get a PS5.
Well, see, the thing is, the longer that goes on, the cheaper PS5s will be. So they'll meet in the middle eventually, won't they? So
because that AstroBot, I can't remember what it's called. But it might be just called AstroBot. The one you get free with PS5.
Yeah, so there's the PS4 on the VR. They had AstroBot Rescue Mission, I think it's called, which Tibbs loves, and he says it's just like Mario Odyssey style quality kind of game, which it does look very, very nice. And there's like a smaller one that you get free with the PS5, isn't there? AstroBot's Playroom, I think it is.
Yeah, which is absolutely fantastic. It's basically like they call it a tech demo, but I enjoyed it. You know, it's a nice little game. Takes you about 3 hours, and it's so good. It's so much fun, and it's so much. I remember when I got my PS5, I got one on release, and I booted this game up, and I just played it first, played it all the way through in one sitting, maybe 2 sittings, and it's just such a nostalgia trip. I was just sat there. I had a tear in my eye at one point. I was just sat there. It's like that much because I was just sat there. Like you pick up relics and things like that, and it pops them open. Then you've got a little room you can go look at them, and it's all PS1 console, PS2 console, PS3, 4, 5, and stuff. The final boss in it is the original tech demo T-Rex from the PS1.
Nice.
You remember the PS1 demo, and then it's a bit of a spoiler this, but
that's all right. Go on.
Yeah, anyway, so you beat the original version, and you think, oh, nice one, I beat the final boss, and then it sort of goes down, and then it comes back up, and it's like a new version, a PS5 graphics version, and you have to fight him. It's so good, and it's just, I'm not really a massive fan of 3D platformers. Yeah. You know, I've never been into like Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie and things like that. They're not my sort of thing. But this just really did something. It really clicked my buttons. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it's definitely worth playing.
Yeah.
So yeah, the new one looks to be more of the same, but they've expanded on it. They look like they made it a much longer game. Yeah,
it looks like a 3D platformer and also like a rail shooter as well, which is a genre I love. I'm all about rail shooters. So that, definitely one on the PS5 list. Get a few more of those, and I might just get myself a PS5 quite soon. I don't know.
We should probably wait for the Pro now.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they do port a lot of these things to Steam eventually, though. So I'm thinking maybe they might do, but it's quite PlayStation based, isn't it? There's a lot of PlayStation stuff in the trailer, like other PlayStation brands and stuff. So maybe that's
I think you unlock characters, don't you? Other characters like
he's got
my son lost his mind when he saw you could be Nathan Drake in it. He's absolutely obsessed with Uncharted. Really? He's been playing Uncharted since he was like 4.
Oh wow!
It's really weird to see like there's a child that's just grown up on Nathan Drake.
what we think of as a really modern game. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like, no, he's like my hero. He's up there with Indiana Jones and stuff for him. It's just like, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, he's like the new modern day Indiana Jones, really, isn't he, Nathan?
Yeah.
I keep meaning, because I've done Uncharted 1. Well, I did Uncharted 4 first, and I did 1 about 3 years ago. And I keep meaning to carry on with the second one. I keep, but the other new games keep coming in, so I'm going to get around to that hopefully this year. Do Uncharted 2, because that's a really good one, isn't it?
Yeah, the gameplay on 4 is a lot different to. It's still very similar, but they base it a lot more on The Last of Us.
Mm.
You know that, and I'm not a massive fan of The Last of Us, but Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 are absolutely fantastic. They're incredible games.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a Nintendo Direct. There's a couple of things. There's a Metroid Prime 4 finally, because they announced that about 5 or 6 years ago, didn't they? And then a couple of years ago they said, "Oh, it was no good. We're going to redo it completely." And now they finally revealed it, and I think it's probably going to be like a thing where they release it on the Switch and whatever the successor to the Switch will be at the same time next year. So I love Metroid Prime original, so I'm looking forward to that.
I've never played a Metroid game.
I can definitely vouch for Prime. That's the 3D one. It's really, really good.
Was that on GameCube originally? Or?
It was on GameCube originally. They ported it to there was a trilogy of all three on the Wii that was also digitally available on the Wii U, and it's also on the Switch now as in a sort of updated version, which is supposed to be really, really good as well. So that's it's like a first-person shooter, but it's a Metroidvania. So it's a much more, you sort of explore a very large area, and you unlock stuff, and it's a really good sort of exploration first-person shooter sort of thing. Really, it's great, really good atmosphere. And there's a new Zelda game as well where you play as Zelda finally for the first time in about 35 years. So that's called Echoes of Wisdom.
Is that the green guy with a hat?
So, yes. Yeah, that's all I got really in my list. Like I'm sure between them all there was like loads of games, but those are the ones that really caught my eye, to be honest. Like Summer Game Fest, I always forget that even comes up, to be honest. That's like the new E3 really sort of thing, but I just completely forget about it.
Is it one of these Jeff Keighley things, or is he?
Yeah,
he's the Game
I think
Awards,
so.
Isn't it? Or...
I think so. Tibbs knows a little bit more about this than me, so we're just searching around in the dark for this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so shall we crack on with Discworld 2 then?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be discussing just that.
The Video Game Book Club.
Okay, so welcome back. This month, I was going to say Tibbs, you're not Tibbs. Rick has brought us Discworld 2 to discuss. So this game is subtitled Missing Presumed, ... exclamation mark, question mark, in Europe, but it was retitled Mortality Bites in the US. It was first released for DOS and Windows in the UK only in November 96, with the US release following in January 97. In September that year, it was also ported to the Sega Saturn in Europe and the PlayStation in the US, while the European PS1 release also followed in November. It was developed by Perfect Entertainment, published by Psygnosis, on everything except the Saturn, where it was published by Sega. If you're looking for the PC or PlayStation copies, prices start at about £30. Saturn one is rarer and more expensive, starting at about £75. So this is a hand-drawn, animated, fully voice-acted point-and-click adventure game, based obviously in the Discworld universe from the popular series of books by Terry Pratchett. So the story, when it's discovered that people aren't dying as they should be, the wizard Rincewind is tasked with finding Death and convincing him to come out of retirement to rescue his normal duties. So there's your synopsis. So what made you pick this, and what's your history with it, Rick?
Well, I didn't actually pick this. I just suggested that you should.
Oh no, that's true. You didn't pick it. You you did suggest. So I picked it.
And then I got roped in to joining here, which I'm quite glad about. I'm very happy about. But it's a game that's very, very dear to my heart. I first played it back in maybe 96, 97. When did it come out? 96?
It was 96, 97.
Yeah, I imagine that. Yeah, it was actually my dad's game.
Okay. Do you have it on PC?
Yeah, on PC.
Yeah.
We first got our PC in 95, I think. So it was all very exciting.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. Mm.
I had like a little 10-pack of games. This wasn't in that, but Championship Manager was the main thing that I used to play back then.
Mm-hmm.
But I think either this or Day of the Tentacle were the first point-and-click games I played.
Okay.
But yeah, my dad got this. I've only ever known my dad play 3 games, and that's this, and Myst, and Megalomania. He used to make me go and borrow. Yeah, a mate down the road had Megalomania on Mega Drive, and he was like, "Go and borrow that game off him. Go and borrow that game off him." Found out he'd stayed up all night playing it one night. Came down and he was still sat there playing it.
Brilliant.
But anyway, Discworld II. Yeah, and so I think I played this, and then this got me into the books.
Okay, so this came first for you. All right.
Yeah, this came first. My dad had all the books, and then I was just like, "Oh, I really like this. I'm going to have to jump into these books and start reading them." And I loved them. Terry Pratchett's one of my favourite authors.
Okay. Yeah.
So I played it back in 96, 97, and I never beat it until I played it a couple of years ago.
Ah, okay. Yes, it's
because it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I'm glad you said it. I mean, so my history of point-and-click adventures is practically non-existent.
All right.
My wife played a lot of them, and I've seen her play some of them, so she loves that Monkey Island, Day of the Tentacle, all those LucasArts ones. I did ask her if she played this, and she said she had tried it, but she never really got into it. The presentation and the voice acting and the artwork and the animation is all absolutely brilliant. I was really impressed by it, but I just couldn't get on with the point, and it's the genre really. I think for me, I found more than the game. Although the game doesn't help you a lot with the clues and things. Really, you really have to sort of think outside the box to find this random object and then combine it with another object and use it in a really strange place. And I think it's just trial and error. Is that how you completed this, really? Just tried loads of different things with other things?
No, I tried trial and error for, 96, 97 till about 2007.
Oh, right. Spent 10 years.
Yeah. But not all at once.
Okay.
Literally picking it up again and going, right, I'm gonna do this, and then going, I can't remember anything. I've got all these items in my inventory. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'll have to restart. Obviously, for like maybe the first year or so, I did play it a lot, and it was all on one save file, and I couldn't figure out. I don't think I ever got past Act 1.
No.
On when I originally played it. Yeah, so the time I played it last, I played it a couple of years ago. I haven't played it again this time. Because I didn't want to put myself through it. So I watched... see, this was just to torture you two. That's what it was. And it's just...
It's
backfired.
I did wonder.
So the last time a couple of years ago, I was just used a walkthrough. But, I didn't just follow the walkthrough and that was it. Look at the walkthrough, do what it says. I was... Because a lot of the charm of it's chatting to the characters and seeing what they've got to say. They've got some funny jokes and things like that. But yeah, there's one thing, and it's like you need to get. Maybe I'm jumping the gun here. You might want to do this in a different way. But so there's one bit you need to get to perform the rite of Ashkent. You need to get 4 sticks and whatever, and you need 4 cc's of mouse blood.
Yes.
So you've got the mouse, and you've got a test tube, and you've got a knife. So you're like, oh, I'm sorted. I've got the knife. Use the knife on the mouse to get the mouse blood. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not killing this poor defenseless creature.
Yes.
So what you actually have to do is go to a bar and find a vampire that's waiting for dawn. So then you have to go off and find a cock that's going to crow and tell you when it's dawn. And there's some convoluted way of getting hold of this chicken.
Yeah, that's convoluted
Won't say what I was going to say. And then you have to go back and get it to crow.
You got to wake it up.
Rushes home.
You got to wake it up first with some coffee that someone else had, which is I didn't even realise that it needed coffee to wake up.
Yeah.
so that was another thing. Well, that was definitely from a walkthrough. I didn't know. Couldn't figure that one out.
Yeah, so then this vampire goes, "Oh my god, it's dawn," and rushes home back to his crypt, jumps in his coffin. So then you have to get a ladder from somewhere else, which is another big convoluted thing. So you can climb up to his crypt and open his coffin and steal his false teeth.
Yes.
And then you use false teeth on Mouse, and Rincewind puts the false teeth in his mouth and bites the neck of this mouse. Yeah. So he doesn't kill it, but you still get the 4 cc's of mouse blood. It's just like...
I mean, it's obvious when you say it like that, isn't
it? Yeah, completely obvious. Why would you need a walkthrough for that?
And there's hardly any hints for any of that either, as far as I could see.
No, it's not. Absolutely nothing. It's just pick up everything you find and go, does this work with this? Does this work with this? And
that's right. Yeah.
None of it does.
I mean... Yeah, when you were a kid, I could totally see how this is the kind of game you could just sit there all Sunday afternoon and just mess around with and just wander around talking to people, because we all did stuff like that when we had endless amount of times in the weekend just to prat around in games like this. But when I'm nearly 40 and I've got a job and a life and a family and a mortgage, it's difficult to find that time. When you've only got an hour in the evening and you make no progress whatsoever. And you're like, oh my god, why has Rick chosen this game?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's one of them. I'm just saying, oh yeah, you should play this game if you've not played it. And then I watched the video again and remembered.
Yeah.
How... I love it. I absolutely love the game. It introduced me to this world.
There's loads of charm in it. Gameplay aside, the voice acting in itself is you've got Eric Idle as Rincewind, and he's just fully Eric Idle. He's perfect. I mean, I don't know if he voices him in any other Discworld thing.
There's another game, the first Discworld game, which I've never played, and he voices him in that. And but I think apparently the Monty Pythoned him up for the second one, which you can see.
Yeah.
If you get to Act 2, there's a big Monty Python joke in there about it's like the stoning, in Life of Brian, where the stoning that person, they're all ladies with beards.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big joke on that, and it's just this isn't plagiarism at all. It's all fine.
Yeah, the fourth wall breaking in the whole game is fantastic. Yeah. It's just the character's very aware that he's in a game. And again, like I was saying earlier, there's so many great one-liners and things like that of course I can't remember off the top of my head now.
Yeah.
But
you posted a good one on Twitter where he was like, "There you are, Bone Idol."
Oh yeah.
All the humour's very much, and for those that haven't seen the tweet, it's like Death is a skeleton, obviously. So he's just sat there lounging in his deck chair, and Rincewind saying, "There you are, Bone Idol." So that's the joke. That's very much Terry Pratchett's humour. It's all very obvious.
Yeah,
and a lot of the jokes might have a build up, but you can see it all coming a mile off. But then you get the payoff, and it's like, there we go. There's the payoff. That's what I've been waiting for. I've known it's coming.
I mean, all that definitely does make me more interested in reading some Discworld. I don't know if you could recommend a book to start with, because there's quite a lot of them, aren't there?
My favourite are there's loads of different characters in there, and a lot of the books are based around different characters. Like the first 2 books are based around Rincewind.
Yeah.
And they're very much like a 2-part thing. But a lot of you can start anywhere. My favourite book is Night Watch.
Okay.
Which has got the commander of the guard, Sam Vimes, going back in time, and he ends up training himself as a child. It's very, very good. But if you start with the Night Watch, there's about maybe 10 books altogether. I think the first one's called Men at Arms. Maybe if you start there, read a few books before you go. The first 2 are very different to the later ones. I think if you go in reading the first 2 and then think, the rest of the series is like this, it isn't. first two are very good.
Yeah, I've heard that the first two aren't necessarily the best ones to start with.
Yeah, they're not. They're definitely not. But they are definitely good ones to go back to and read. Like the BBC did a series with them where David Jason was playing Rincewind.
Yeah, I remember that, I think. Yeah.
Which it doesn't... The corny humour and everything doesn't come across as well in the TV show as it does when you're reading the book. If you know what I mean, it's weird. It's like I like the TV shows and I enjoy them, but it's because I've read the books first and I can just I fondly remember the books or whatever.
Sure. Oh yeah. That's it. That's the case with anything. If you read the book first, you're always going to prefer that over like a TV or a movie version because it's never quite how you pictured it, is it? And they always miss bits out to fit it all in. And yeah, definitely. Rob Brydon's also in it. I guess sort of pre-famous Rob Brydon.
Yeah,
I don't think he was really famous by this point, but he does a lot of the voices, and you can always tell his, and he's very good. Nigel, I think I might have written his name down.
Nigel Planer.
Planer.
Yeah, Neil out of the Young Ones.
Yes, Neil out of the Young Ones. For some reason, I've written Nigel Planel, which is not right. And I was trying to remember what I meant to write. Nigel Planer. Neil from the Young Ones, he's in it, and Kate Robbins as well. All brilliant, really, really good. So the best voice acting I've heard in a game, especially from this era,
absolutely.
Which is, generally compared to everything else, which is terrible. Yeah, this must.
They were trying to get
have stood head and shoulders.
Christopher Lee for the voice of Death, weren't they? Imagine how good that would have been. I mean, he's got the perfect. If he did his Saruman voice as the voice of Death, that'd be amazing.
Oh God, yeah, that would have been incredible. Yeah, fantastic.
But they couldn't afford him.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm not surprised. Yeah, I think the first one had. I did see it somewhere. Someone else really famous.
Oh, John Pertwee.
John Pertwee, was in it, and I think someone else as well. I can't think now. But yeah, it's just oozing with great British humour and great British voices and everything. It's got a lot of that sort of character. The environments are all really, really beautifully hand drawn. Lots of nice animations when he's interacting with certain objects. Really well done. I was actually playing this on an emulated Saturn version.
All right.
I don't know why I didn't go for the obvious PC version.
Because the PC version looks a lot better, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I had a look on the gameplay video of the PlayStation one as well, and that's similar.
Very similar to the Saturn, yeah.
And it's I wouldn't recommend it on either of those.
No, it doesn't work well with the controller at all, does it?
No, it's not too bad with the controller. It does what you expect, I suppose. But my main issue with them was because they struggled loading the different resolutions of character art. So when Rincewind is in the distance and he starts walking towards the front of the scene, he goes through like 3 or 4 different versions of his sprite, which scale up. Yeah. To get clarity, and it takes like a good second to load each one of those, and the whole game freezes while it's doing it. So it's very, very disruptive, very annoying, and just to walk across the scene is a bit of a chore. So I wouldn't recommend either of those particularly. Certainly not the Saturn one, which I played. I think the PlayStation suffers from a similar problem.
So how far did you get?
So I did. Well, I got through Act 1, and I sort of started Act 2, but I had to do a hell of a lot of walkthrough help.
Yeah.
Like mostly walkthrough, to be honest. Like I spent like a good 2 or 3 hours just wandering around, picking up objects, wondering what to do with them, because it's it's the standard point and click thing from what I understand, from what I've seen my wife play these. You get tasked with finding these like 4 different things, like the mouse blood and the sticks and some other stuff, and you think, right, my first thought was, right, I just got to go around until I find these obvious things, and then bring them back. But it's just a case of, you pick up a hint as to how you might get it, but then you have to, in order to do that, you have to find an object to give to this person who will then give it to you. But in order to get that object, you have to get another object. In order to get that object, you have to get another object. And it's just a chain of stuff that you've got to do. And I've encountered that idea in other games. There was a game called Golf Story on the Switch, which had a level like that. Golf Story was like an RPG mixed with a golfing game, like a top-down pixel art game, and you had different characters and they had different problems to solve, and when you solve their problem for you, they'd give you an item, and you gradually put these items together in a particular sequence, and you get the thing, which is very much like this. I really enjoyed that, but this was just plain hard and just some more hints. That's just some more hints. That's what I would like. But I think they were just sadistically holding back these hints and things, and just making sure that people spent ages combining objects and things, and just trying to gradually figure it out.
To get the 4 sticks, or three or 4 sticks, it's like they're all in the same place, aren't they? They're all in the croquet garden.
Croquet garden, yep.
And it's just one of the things you need is a flamingo.
Yep.
And that makes sense. And then another one is like a hammerhead shark that's in a fishing.
Oh yeah,
net.
exactly. I mean, what? So it's like 3 wizards who are playing croquet, and they've got the stick. The croquet sticks is what you want to get them off. So, but rather than sort of talking to them and asking, "Can you get them off?" You have to. I think without them realizing, you have to replace the stick with these random objects that you would never think. Oh yeah, this hammerhead shark will make a perfect replacement for the stick. There are probably other objects in your inventory that would make a better stick. Start.
It's not a frozen one, is it? It'd make more sense if you had to get the hammerhead shark and then go to like the Pork Futures warehouse and freeze it.
Yes, yes.
Take it. I mean, they clearly just didn't think about this at all, did they?
No, of course not. No. I did like the Pork Futures room, which is a room dedicated to storing pork that theoretically will exist at some point, but doesn't yet. So it's just an empty warehouse with these outlines of pork. And if you click on it, like when you click on things that you can't pick up, Rincewind will just give you a comment like, how am I supposed to pick up something that doesn't exist yet? Oh, it's just, there's just humour everywhere.
And all the humour is all Pratchett.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. So he must have wrote all this, the whole game.
I don't know if he wrote the game, but it's based on about 3 or 4 of the books.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's sort of.
I think they just wrote in the style of him. He's invented all the world and everything, and all the characters. But I think a lot of the dialogue's just written as he would have written it. Rather than him writing the whole story. I mean, maybe he did, but I've not seen that anywhere that he wrote the story.
No, I should have checked that, actually. I don't. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think they.
It said in the credits at the beginning, throwing rocks from afar. Terry Pratchett, didn't it? So,
right.
Yeah, so that's what he was doing. He was just throwing rocks at them.
I think they probably were in contact with him, and he gave him a few ideas, and they asked him about certain things and how he would do certain things, but that's probably the extent of his involvement. Yeah. I would hazard a guess, but be interested to see what he thought of it. So my main point was, like I said earlier, this kind of game is just from a time that I wish I was still in, to be honest, for like. Just sort of endless childhood afternoons where you a bygone era for us all. Yeah, the only time we're going to get that back is when we retire. Yeah, this is what I would call a retirement game now at this point, where I can't really warrant investing a lot of time in it now. Yeah. But when I'm retired, I'm bored. I've got nothing to do. It's the perfect game for that. Just to waste away your time on, really. And just talking to the different characters. My favourite character is probably Cassanunda.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Who is the world's second greatest lover? Yeah. But he requires a ladder to woo the ladies because he's very short. And that's the ladder that you need to get to wake up or to get to the vampire's coffin, isn't it? Yeah. Because you need to introduce him to a lady, like the dead witch, wasn't it?
Yeah. She's not dead. She's borrowing.
Oh yeah.
She casts her mind into animals and things. I think it's called borrowing. That's Granny Weatherwax. She's like the there's three or 4 witches. She's like the main head one in some of the books.
Okay.
The characters aren't quite portrayed as much in the games as they are in the books. Rincewind in the books is very, very cowardly. He'd run away. There's no way Rincewind would try disarming a bomb. He'd be in another continent. He's like,
that's interesting.
It's like one of the jokes in the early books is like, you'll never catch Rincewind running away. He's too fast.
Very good.
So and Granny Weatherwax doesn't suffer fools and things like that. There's no way she'd be as she is in the game, but it is what it is. It's how they need to be in the game.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, you can't. I mean, like I think my impression of the books, you can't take it too seriously.
Oh yeah,
It's just. So how did I mean? I don't want to spoil too much, but I got to the point where he finds Death, and then I think he suggests he should be. Death wants to be more popular, so I think Rincewind suggests he's in a clicky, which is like the movies, isn't it?
So basically, the rest of the game is you have to get him. You have to get all the stuff you need to make the clicky. You end up being the cameraman.
I'm sure.
You have to find a stuntman. You have to do. Yeah, it's just ridiculous the amount of stuff you have to do. And in the end, it's all happy. Death goes back to his work. Rincewind goes back to being a wizard.
I
don't want to spoil anything for people, but it's if you play, even if you just play through it with a walkthrough, and now and then you just go and click on someone and listen to someone. If you like the Discworld books, you'll love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way of playing it, to be honest. Yeah. Literally just being told what to do.
Yeah,
and
definitely
then just having a bit.
Try and play it, because no.
This is a game we don't recommend you playing, but just just watching, really.
Better yet, just go and watch a video on YouTube. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 4-hour video, and I was like, how the hell have you done this in 4 hours?
Oh, it'd be like someone who's played it to death and knows. Yes, it's the how long to beat was something like 10 to 11 hours, which is just, it would take you that if you know exactly what you're doing, but it's going to be like realistically it's like hundreds of hours potentially. Yeah, just trying to figure it out. But yeah, it's certainly an interesting one. It's we haven't really played anything like this before. I was going to say it's because I was one day I was contemplating suggesting Monkey Island as a book club pick. I was going to say this has kind of put me off point and click adventures to some extent, but I don't know if that one. Have you played that one?
I have played Monkey Island, and I feel like I got a lot further in that on my own than I did in that. I think this is very obtuse.
Yes. Okay. So it's not the best example.
Yeah, it's not the best example.
One.
Yeah, definitely not. But I'd recommend Day of the Tentacle over Monkey Island.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but any point and click you play, it has that lateral think. I don't even know what lateral thinking means. I think it means.
No, I don't. Yeah, people use it all the time. I'm not entirely sure what it means, but I think it means this. I think it means this, doesn't it? Like thinking outside the box, kind of thing. Like yeah. So if you're into sadistically punishing yourself, then by all means try and play it. But yeah, certainly just check it out for its humor and its its presentation and its voice acting and all those things are absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I'd recommend it based on those merits. And even just like the ridiculousness, even when you follow a walkthrough, and just like you said before, the ridiculousness of the steps that you have to go through just to get one item is just it's on another level from anything I've seen before.
Don't you know who I am? I am Casananda, the second greatest lover who ever lived, and the ladder salesman extraordinaire.
So, what does the world's second greatest lover do with his time?
Oh, I'm always looking for fresh challenges, sir. I look at it as my duty to bring romance and step ladders into the lives of beautiful women everywhere.
This ladder of yours?
Ah, the finest ladder in all of the disc. The old equalizer, you might say. It allows the lover of a reduced altitude the opportunity to kiss his lady on the cheek instead of on the...
That's quite enough of that.
Okay, so next month, and I've already told Tibbs what the game is, we're going to be playing Metropolis Street Racer on the Dreamcast. Have you played that before?
I haven't, no. I don't know why I've never even heard of it.
You haven't heard of it? Okay, so it's
it's a reaction.
So have you the Project Gotham racing games?
Oh yeah.
So it's the precursor to that. Basically, it was on the Dreamcast. It's very similar. It's got that sort of kudos system where you kind of bet you earn points based on the races that you do, and then you can earn more based on the race tells you you've got to do this race in 2 minutes. If you say, I can do it in 1 minute 50 seconds, you get more points and that kind of thing. So I had this at the time. I played it loads, and I've been playing it a lot recently. So I thought, this might make a good book club game, because racing games, and particularly sort of straight driving ones, it's one of those genres, and I'd also put fighting games and shoot 'em ups into this, where I think we'd struggle to do them in the book club quite often, because you have to know a lot about the technicalities that go into them in order to see the differences between them compared to the other games in that genre. So, for example, in driving ones, it would be normally it would be like physics and stuff, and in shoot 'em ups, it would be the power ups and the scoring thing, and fighting games, all the mechanics and stuff that I don't know enough about to talk about. So, they don't always make great book club games, but I feel there's enough interesting ideas and enough sort of elements of style and substance to this game that there should be some interesting stuff to talk about. So we're going to try that.
Yes.
So that'll be the next episode. So you can follow us on Twitter at podemup. We are podemup.live is the website, and we got a new email address, but I forgot what it is now. It is
dot something.
Yes, what was it? It was mail at podemup.live, I think it is. Yeah, mail at podemup.live. If you want to reach out, and please do.
Reach out. You could be on the show if you reach. I literally reached out, and here I am on my second episode, and I'm a co-host.
I gotta be honest, it'd be really easy if anyone wanted to come on the show, it'd be really easy to do so. You literally just got to get in touch and we'll have you on. It's fine, yeah. So we're on YouTube Music now. That happened since the last episode. So Google Podcast is no more. It's been destroyed. It's been killed in a fire.
Google stopped supporting something.
Yeah, I know. Unheard of, right? Unheard of. I know. So they moved it to YouTube Music, which is not, as it's not like a similar podcast app. It's basically YouTube, but with a section in it where you can just get podcasts, and they just play like a music video sort of thing. But we're on that anyway, so you can get us there. If you're the sort of person that only consumes media through YouTube, then that's where you can find us. If you just search for Podemup, you'll find us on there. We're still on everywhere else, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, you can find all our past episodes out there in the wild. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me, Rick.
Thank you for having me again. I will be on any time. I'm happy to come.
Great. Okay, well, we'll have you on again at some point, definitely. I'm sure. All three of us next time, hopefully. And we can have a good old natter about something else.
Nice one. I won't suggest a game next time.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, because that's
probably best.
Completely wrong.
All right.
I'm sorry for what I put about. And Tibbs doesn't even get to talk about it. Tibbs doesn't even get.
He doesn't get to talk about it. Hopefully, Tibbs will be back next time, and we'll see you then. Okay. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
There's a place you're always welcome. That's as nice as it can be. Everyone can get in, 'cause it's absolutely free. That's death. No need to take a breath. Just lie around all day with not a single bill to pay. Hooray, that's death. No more sicknesses or flu. If you've lived beyond your means, you can die beyond them too. Boo-hoo. Well, the greatest and the finest have already died. Why not simply join them on the other side? That's death. Say farewell to all your bills. Rip up all your wills and pop your final pills. Amen, that's death. It's a tete-a-tete with fate. If you're not feeling great, then it's the best way to lose weight, mate. Nothing here to hurt you. No one's here to nag. Come die with me if your life's a drag. That's death. The wealthy and well-bred, all of them are here, and they're all completely dead. That's death. plane. You can't take it with you. You can't keep what you've got. So why not just lie back and simply rot? Just simply rot. It's so cool, it's hot. And that's death.